This is probably going to be a little bit of a longer video because this has been highly requested for quite some time. I don't have a script, but I definitely know how to explain the difference between school social workers and school counselors. So let's do this. Let me just jump right in. I know that many of y'all are in the boat where you too are processing whether you want to go into school counseling or school social work. So of course the big question is, what are the differences? What do they do, right? And you can watch a whole bunch of vlogs here at Social Work Scrapbook, kind of sharing the day-to-day life of what I do. But in this specific video, I'm talking about all of the differences. We won't get into the pros and cons. If that's something you want to see or hear or chat about, we can talk about it in the comments down below, and maybe I'll make another video for that, but we'd be here forever. I want to jump into a little bit about what in your personality or your character would kind of push you into the role of a school social worker or school counselor. I have a great idea for like one of those little quizzes. I used to love doing quizzes at the back of like Teen Vogue magazine. So this is one of those. I'm going to create one of those. Let's kind of jump into it and kind of walk through it in this video since you're here already. And we'll kind of like tally up the marks, right? To see which career field would be best for you. Okay, so if you find yourself kind of running towards the drama, or the drama is like sucks you in, then you would definitely have a check for the school social work side of things. However, if you have trouble biting your tongue, keeping a straight face when you're hearing some very shocking news, then you are kind of on the other end. If you're in the middle somewhere, no worries, because that's what the graduate program teaches you, is a lot of how to be aware of your biases, how to be aware of all those types of things so that you don't essentially mess up in a session or when consulting or working with a family or student or teachers or whatnot. School social workers hear a lot, and so do school counselors. However, with social work, if you are licensed in your state, like I am, you cannot break confidentiality or you will lose that license, thus being out of a job. Let's get into the role of a school social worker versus a school counselor. We'll start at the elementary level. Little caveat here, I have not ever been, I've interned at an elementary level, but I've never worked as an elementary school social worker. However, I coach and consult with a lot of elementary school social workers. So the deal is, I will list over here to the side all of the roles that a school social worker typically is going to take, and these can look very similar to that of a school counselor. In fact, I do feel like in the elementary level, the school counselor and the school social worker work a little more hand in hand compared to secondary. So you may see a lot of groups going on. One of the big differences I'm going to highlight on the screen right now is parent engagement and parent communication. The social worker, and the way I describe my role to many students and staff and parents, is that a school social worker is the link between the home and the school. That means we do home visits. We may not see very many counselors do this. That doesn't mean that they cannot, but a school social worker typically takes on this role. I have another video regarding home visits that I'm going to link down in the description box, but you can also click up there to watch it. The reason why I am throwing this video out there and I've hand selected it for you is because a lot of people get nervous around the idea of doing home visits. It's not exactly what you think. We're not doing any home studies or investigation or removal. School social workers do not do that piece, but we do complete home visits to create that link and strengthen that link between the home and the school. So this is typically working with parents or students that are less engaged in school, students that are at risk of dropping out. If there is a particularly tough to engage, tough to reach type of family, maybe a very resistant family, we deal a lot with kind of breaking down those barriers and those walls to help that alignment, again, that link. Other at-risk populations, I'm going to pop on the screen right now. These are definitely going to be the clients of a school social worker, not necessarily a school counselor. At the secondary level, you see these roles split even more. And that's because a school counselor at the secondary level is now tasked with courses, course scheduling, what is the other, academic planning. They really start to assist the campus and the administrators with setting up assessments, testing. They're bringing in college campuses. They're setting up college and career fairs. They're doing a lot of those things. Social workers can definitely infuse themselves into these types of engagement, especially college and career fairs. I've definitely helped and kind of pulled my weight with those types of functions for our students and our families. However, what a secondary school social worker is going to look like, that role is going to look more like this. So we're still dealing with very at-risk populations. We are still doing home visits. We may do more one-on-one guidance. These are guidance lessons. Not all school social workers are going to do individual type of sessions or therapy. Some do, depending on your state, but not all. But there is a lot of guidance, a lot of coping skills that we're teaching. We run a lot of groups here for secondary schools, and there's case management as well. This is giving and helping fill the gaps for students and families. There isn't necessarily a school social worker in every district, let alone every school. That's one of the big differences between school counselors and school social workers is when you think of a school, you will typically think of the teachers, the principal, the school counselor, school nurse, and that's typically true. Every school is going to have at least one counselor. And I say at least because in the primary education, that's elementary, K through 5, you typically have one school counselor at that campus. In your middle schools and high schools, that's secondary schools, they typically have more than one, maybe 2, 3, 4, sometimes depending on the size of the school. I'm sure there's bigger because I work in a district that's quite small and manageable, and I like it that way. My point in saying this is that with school social workers, sometimes you will be kind of all on your own. I have heard situations where there are people that are the only school social worker in the entire district serving every campus. The district that I work with now, that's definitely how they started off. There was about maybe 2 to 3 social workers for the entire district. That has since changed, and we are lucky to say that as of 2020, we have a school social worker on every campus. That's a big, big win because you don't see that often. So the jobs are pretty scarce among school social workers. I do find that once a school social worker has locked into the career of school social work, it's very rare that they leave, and that's because there's a lot of pros. If you want to check out some of those pros, what I really love about being a school social worker, I will link a video up above. All in all, it's all going to depend on your personal preference, where your strengths lie, and what really is your passion in going into schools. What do you hope to change? What do you hope to make an impact on? Everyone working in a school, teachers to administrators, school social workers, school counselors, everyone. There's so many more that I haven't mentioned. There's so many moving pieces to a school, and each of us really put students on the forefront and really strive to make the future brighter and better. So it really all comes down to your personality, what your strengths are, and where your passions lie. Where do you think you would best fit? So let me know in the comments below right now, after watching this video, maybe you switched from school social worker to school counselor or vice versa. I hope that this video was helpful. I can't wait to read your comments down below. Next week, I will be sharing another vlog because I know y'all like to take a peek into the day in the life of a school social worker. And I'm also going to have a video on time management hacks for school social workers. This is a huge secret that I think a lot of school social workers do not tap into or not aware of, and I'm going to share it very soon. So be sure that you are subscribed and very importantly, you've hit the notification bell so that you get alerted to when these videos are coming to you. Till next time, I'm wishing you social work success. Bye, guys.